Sun, Moon and Talia by Giambatista Basile. There was once a great lord who had a daughter named Talia. At her birth he called together all the wise men and astrologers of his kingdom, that they might cast her horoscope and foretell her future. And when they had considered the matter, they declared that Talia would be in great danger from a splinter of flax. The Lord therefore commanded that neither flax nor hemp nor anything of that sort should ever be brought into his house. But one day, when Talia had grown to be a beautiful maiden, she saw an old woman at a window spinning flax. Having never seen such a thing before, she was filled with curiosity and went up to the old woman, taking the flax in her hand and beginning to draw out the thread. But as she did so, a splinter of flax entered under her nail, and she fell down dead upon the spot. When her father saw this, he was overcome with grief. After placing her in one of his country houses upon a chair of velvet, he shut up the house forever and abandoned it. Some time afterward, a king who was hunting came near that house. One of his falcons flew into it, and the king, wishing to retrieve it, knocking at the door. Receiving no answer, he caused the door to be broken open and entered the house. He went from room to room until at last he came to the chamber where Talia sat, as if alive but fast asleep. He called her, but she did not awaken. He shocked her, but still she gave no sign of life. Then, seeing her beauty, he was so overcome with desire that he lifted her in his arms and carried her to a bed, where he gathered the fruits of love. Leaving her there, he returned to his kingdom, and for as long time gave no such to what had happened. After 9 months, Talia gave birth to twins, a boy and a girl, and yet she did not awaken. The 2 infants, crying for milk, crawled about, and at last one of them took hold of Talia's hands and began to suck her finger. By chance, he sucked so strongly that she drew out the splinter of flax that had been lodged there. At that moment Talia awoke as if she had been asleep for a long time. Seeing the 2 children besides her, she was greatly astonished, not knowing what had happened, but she cared for them tenderly, and they grew in strength and beauty. Some time later, the king remembered what had occurred and returned to the house. There he found Talia awake, with the 2 children, and he was filled with joy. He told her all that had passed, and they lived together for some time in great happiness. But the king was already married, and his queen, became aware of his attachment to Talia, burned with jealousy. She discovered the existence of the children and sent a message to Talia in the king's name, requested that she send the children to him. Talia suspected no evil sent them, but the queen ordered the cook to kill the children and prepare them as dishes for the king's table. The cook, however, took pity on them and hid them away, serving instead the flesh of 2 young goats. When the king ate the meal, the queen said, "You are eating what is your own." And she rejoiced in her cruelty. But when she later discovered that the children were still alive, her rage knew no bounds. She then ordered that a great fire be prepared in the courtyard and that Talia be brought and cast into it. Talia, in despair, asked only that she might remove her fine garments first, while she delayed the king's return and learned of all that had happened. They commanded that the queen herself be thrown into the fire she had prepared, along with those who had aided her wickedness. The children were brought forth unharmed, and the faithful cook was rewarded. At last the king married Talia, and they lived together with sun and moon in great happiness for many years. Hiding under the blanket already? No? Then we'll try again next week. If you enjoyed the story, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments what you'd like to hear next. Sleep well and have terrible, beautiful dreams.